yeah, it turned out to be fun. Yay. Rayman Raving Rabbids. Or just Raving Rabbids and Rayman's off to the side. Or no Rayman at all. Yeah, the Rabbids have really taken on a life of their own, huh? Hell, I'm saying this like it's a recent development. It did not take long after their very first game to completely overshadow Rayman. And although there have been 2 amazing Rayman games that have come out since the conception of the Rabbids just seem to appeal to people more. I mean, there have been many Rabbids games made, most of them party games of varying quality. And there's even that new Mario plus Rabbids RPG coming out. I mean, that is insane. It is such a weird and honestly pretty stupid sounding idea, but it actually looks pretty good. Hell, I might even buy it and play it. And I don't even like real-time tactical RPG games. I suck at that kind of stuff. But I mean, this game has a Princess Peach Rabbid. It's hilarious. So I think I might have to play it. And no, this isn't confirmation that I'm gonna do a review on it, just that I'm probably going to play it. So for the 2 people out there who don't know who these little demons are, they're Rabbids. They're kind of like minions, except they're funnier and not as ungodly annoying. And also they came out first, so they're actually kind of original. Meh. So after releasing 3 successful party games, Ubisoft decided to switch things up. Rabbids Go Home is a 3D collectathon game. Kind of reminds me of Katamari Damacy, honestly. The game is about going through mostly linear 3D levels, collecting random things in order to create a giant pile high enough to reach the moon. Why? Well, a rabbid looked up at the moon one night and decided he wanted to go there. You really shouldn't question the motives of these little demons. And that's the plot. Pure Shakespeare, right? The basic gameplay is fun. You control 2 Rabbids. One rides inside of a shopping cart, and the other one pushes it from behind. Literally, the entire game can very easily be summed up with push cart into stuff, collect the stuff, make giant pile to moon. The end. But to be fair, there is more to it than that. You can scream at enemies by shaking the Wii Remote, it's your basic attack, and you can also boost forward by creating sparks under your wheels, Mario Kart style. You can go off ramps, over water, break stuff left and right. Where this game definitely excels is the speed. Rushing through levels, breaking stuff, terrorizing all the innocent people. The gameplay is fast and fun. It does start to get a bit repetitive after a while, though. But just as things are starting to get a little bit stale, the game throws something totally insane at you. Like this level, where you first have to smash the turbine off of the wing of a jet just as it's taking off. And then you ride this giant turbine through the airport at high speed. So much fun. There are levels where you're bouncing on walls using a rubber tube, and these levels where you're temporarily given a jump button. Oh, and there's also some functionality with pointing the Wii Remote at the screen to shoot stuff from time to time, but honestly, it kind of felt unneeded. It wasn't particularly fun or challenging, all it really did was break up the speed from time to time. It seemed kinda tacked on. I'm also not a huge fan of having to shake the Wii Remote to do several things in this game. It just seems kinda pointless. Why not just use a button? But other than that, the controls are responsive and they work fine. The steering for the shopping cart can get a little weird, it's kind of slippery and it takes some getting used to, but that's definitely on purpose, and it kind of just adds to the wacky feel of the game. So this game is pretty funny. On the surface, it's just Rabbids doing regular old Rabbid things, which is amusing but rarely actually gets a laugh out of me. But what's legitimately funny in this game is just the rest of the game itself. Riding around in a shopping cart, knocking people's clothes off, and wreaking such havoc, it's really quite amusing. Seeing these Rabbids jump off a ramp and then land in the back of a truck, right on top of a cow, causing the truck to then fly off a cliff, and then for smoke to rise up, and then that just be the end of the level, it cuts off right there. That's hilarious. I mean, I guess the driver's dead. I can only assume. The comedy in this game can actually be surprisingly dark at times. You steal a lot of stuff from a lot of completely innocent people. You even interrupt a terminally ill man's wedding at one point. And when you have a level where you're carrying a dying man in a hospital bed and he starts saying things like, "Don't take me away, I'm not dead yet," it's oh god, it's so dark. I love it. Most of the levels themselves just seem like normal areas, like shopping malls or hospitals, which makes the presence of these Rabbids even funnier in a way. But there are a couple levels that are just amusing to look at themselves. Like this office level where the walls are literally made out of paperwork. And occasionally you'll hear some dialogue in the background that's pretty funny too.
For your security, we remind you that individual toilet stalls have been equipped with video cameras.
So yeah, this game is pretty fun and pretty funny right off the bat. But if you personally don't find the antics of these little Rabbids at all amusing, then, well, I've got some bad news. This might not be the game for you. Obviously. The music in this game is very loud. Probably the best word to describe it. It's loud, fast, wacky, and it fits the gameplay perfectly. It does get a little bit tiring after a while, and I honestly kind of started treasuring some of the quieter moments here and there. Felt nice to just let my ears take a rest. But the music sporadically changes during gameplay depending on where you are and what you're doing, so even if the music can get a bit exhausting after a while, at least it always seems fitting to the insane gameplay. And as long as you don't play through this game all at once, like I did for this review, the music probably won't get on your nerves as much as it did mine. The graphics are definitely not pushing any technical limits. There are better looking games on the Nintendo Wii for sure, but this game does not look bad. Actually, this game looks pretty good. It's just that it doesn't look good because of great character models, amazing lighting, or even great textures. No, it looks good because, well, for one, it's colorful, and if you've watched the show before, then you know that I'm a sucker for bright and colorful games, but more importantly, it looks good because of the animations. The way your shopping cart tilts as you move around and knock into stuff. The cartoonish way that you're flung around and attack people, it's all just really nice and amusing to look at. Honestly, it kind of makes you feel like you're playing a cartoon. This game has a real energy to it, between the fast-paced gameplay, the crazy and wacky music, and the great animations. I just kind of had a permanent smile on my face while I was playing through most of this game. I say most of this game because there are things wrong with it. It ain't perfect. The story doesn't really escalate much. I mean, the game does, you build this giant mountain of stuff, but for a game that literally has a comedy adventure on the title, it doesn't really feel much like an adventure, just a series of levels where you collect random things. There's this one level where you kidnap a man from his own wedding, and then at the end of the level, his wife is looking for him. I thought that maybe she would come back in a later level, maybe seeking revenge or something, I don't know. But no, she never does. Her husband is probably dead. The plot of this game probably could have been a bit crazier, which is weird to say because this is a pretty insane game. And I know that I said earlier that the gameplay switches itself up, and it does to a certain extent, but by the end of the game, it was getting kind of stale once again. It kinda sucks that once you've played through all the different types of levels at least once, then you pretty much know exactly what to expect going forward at the start of every level. So yeah, gameplay-wise, even with the gameplay switches, it's still fairly repetitive. And also, this game is not very difficult. It is a pretty easy game to get through. Except for this stupid goddamn level near the end. This level was insanely long and it had no friggin' checkpoint, so if you die once, you lose all of the stuff that you've collected. God, I hated this level. And also, sometimes when you die, you lose all of the stuff that you've collected, while other times you don't. There's no consistency, which is incredibly annoying. Other than that, though, the game is very easy. So, you can create your own custom Rabbids, which is actually pretty amusing. You can paint all over their bodies, resize their eyes and ears, make them look pretty damn weird. But of course, that's not what I did. I didn't make mine look weird. I'm an artiste. I made my Rabbid beautiful. Look at him. He's so majestic. So, yeah. With that, I think I've actually talked about pretty much everything I have to talk about in this game. I really did think I would have more to say about this game, but I mean, if I keep this review going much longer, then I'm pretty much just going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel. I guess one thing I want to do before I end this, since it was something that I was thinking a lot while playing this game, is comparing Rabbids Go Home to Katamari Damacy, like I mentioned earlier. It's an easy comparison to make. Both games have weird plot setups, you control a character that pushes something around, and you collect a bunch of random stuff in each level. They're similar, but between this and Katamari, I'd honestly probably rather play Katamari. Now, whether that's because of the amazing music in Katamari or some of the gameplay choices in this game, I'm not sure. I think why I like Katamari more, though, is that for me personally, this style of game works better as a lark. It works better in small sessions and doses like Katamari, having only about 10 main levels, rather than trying to be a full-on adventure like Rabbids Go Home, which has quite a few levels. I also find that collecting stuff in Katamari feels a bit more rewarding. You literally see everything that you've collected bundle into a giant ball that grows and grows as the level progresses. And also, as you get bigger, you're able to access more and more of the level. In this way, Katamari actually has more of a feeling of progression than Rabbids Go Home, which really should not be the case. Not only is Rabbids Go Home set up to be some sort of grand quest, but in Katamari, every time you start a new level, you're starting a new collection over and over again. While in Rabbids Go Home, you're collecting stuff in every level to go towards the same goal, a giant pile. Maybe if more of the game took place around this giant garbage pile, or maybe if it was displayed in the background in some of the levels or something, it'd feel better, but yeah. I will say though that this game definitely has more variety. A lot more in fact. But Katamari is still honestly just a bit more fun to play, at least for me. That shouldn't deter from the fun that this game offers, it's just an obvious comparison that I felt should be made. But yeah, now that that's done, I'm done. Overall, I enjoyed my time playing Rabbids Go Home. Actually, it was a blast to play. It's just that it did leave me maybe wanting a bit more. I can see where improvements could have been made. But the gameplay is still fast, wacky, and fun, the music succeeds in getting your adrenaline going, and the graphics are very nice to look at. And the game is, overall, pretty funny. If you haven't played this game and you enjoy the Raving Rabbids series, especially the characters themselves, then you should probably play this. You'll probably have fun. Alright, with that, I'm done. Hey noob, knock knock. Just thought I'd remind you that your next review is your season finale. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's tradition for you to review a horrible game for season finales. Yeah, it is. I obviously know that already. You did Drake, Big Rigs, Ride to Hell Retribution. Dude, I know. I'm reviewing Superman 64 next video. I already made peace with it. I'm not gonna freak out. I'm not gonna, like, cry or run away from home or anything. Again. I'm just gonna play it. It's like ripping off a band-aid. It's not a big deal. So whatever you're trying to do here, it's not working. I don't care. Okay? Ruining my fun. Jerk. You're antagonizing me like this because you're still angry about me shooting you in the arm, aren't you? Of course I am, asshole! Yeah, so I was bluffing. I'm really not looking forward to it.